Okay, welcome back everybody. Going to do a quick armory chat. We have a recent acquisition into the reference collection and don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm just going to do a quick rundown, show it on video, and let people take a closer look and maybe bring you up to speed as to what we're dealing with and maybe some of the questions that we have. So what this is a French military, French Army, it is believed, French Army sniper rifle. The reason I say believed to be French Army, I mean, these are brought into the United States by an importer out of West Virginia called Navy Arms, also known as Old Western Scrounger. Now, this model of gun is the FRF2, so made by GIAT, G-I-A-T. So this is a upgraded version of the original FRF1. Let me get the markings because all the milsurp guys are going to want to see that. A batch of these recently came into the U.S., probably in the past 3 months, and we picked this up this week. The FRF2 is in 7.62 NATO, 7.62 by 51. The French military adopted, or I guess the best I can tell, it looks like they adopted it in 1986. This rifle, it's not heavy. For a sniper rifle, it weighs about 11 pounds. As far as the barrel length, it is 24 inches and has a 10-round detachable box magazine. I will bring you up to speed on some of that here in a minute. Now, what makes this interesting and a primary reason why we would choose to acquire one of these is, how do I say this? Not to be unkind, but in the United States, most sniper rifles are the same. They're either Remington 700 guns or maybe Winchester Model 70 guns. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. Obviously, Accuracy International is its own action, and I run Blauzers, and that is definitely its own action. And even if you're somebody who, you're in the high-end precision rifle game, and you're running some kind of custom action from some company, it's probably a Remington 700. It's their action. It's not made by Remington, but it's a Remington 700. What makes this gun interesting, at least here in the U.S., is this uses an action that is very uncommon here in the United States. This is based off of, as best I could tell, the MAS 36 bolt action gun. So it's a bolt action gun designed by the French in the 30s. So adopted in 1936. Now, this isn't a straight adoption. This action apparently was stiffened and made a little bit more rigid, so it would have less, be more accurate or have less flex. It's really kind of saying the same thing when you're talking about sniper rifles. And they made some changes. I believe the magazine release is very different. They use this weird kind of lever, but it's just a different gun. Like, for example, bolt action guns in the United States typically lock in the front, Mauser action style. I don't know of too many precision rifles that actually lock in the rear on the bolt actions, and that's just, another example of kind of how the French do things. Now, would they have chosen to do that if going from the ground up? I don't think so, but, as kind of said, by people that know about French guns more than we do, the French don't copy anybody and nobody copies the French. That phrase just tickles me to death. And you definitely see some of that when you're looking at this rifle. As for the particulars of this model of gun, I guess some things worth noting that are besides the action, they're going to be different compared to what you find on guns here in the United States. This barrel is free floated. You can't see the barrel because it's hidden under this. They're calling it a thermal shield or shroud. And actually, funny point there, there's even a little rubber skirt to keep the heat from escaping from under this shroud. So I guess when this was adopted, there was a lot of fear about the Soviets and their thermal sighting technology. And so I guess they had determined that, snipers would be vulnerable to thermal detection if they heat their barrels up. So they went ahead and they put this very unique thermal cover, some kind of plastic cover over the barrel. Interestingly enough, it does have built-in backup irons. Actually, I think those might even be irons. They are a form of night sight. They're obviously dead. I don't know. It's probably like a luminescent. It's not a tritium insert. It's probably like glow in the dark paint. So, but there is a There is an iron, or there is a fixed sight, and actually it's drift adjustable. So you're not gonna be able to use the iron sights with the cheek piece, but we'll talk about that in a minute. If I didn't say it, the barrel is 24 inches long, and I guess I don't know what the twist rate is. We're gonna have to check that. Now, if I know my European rifle makers, and considering this is also 1986, I bet dollars to donuts that the twist rate on this gun is gonna be very, very slow, because standard NATO 7.62 ammo loadings are 147, 150 grain, right? So everybody here in the US, precision rifle guys, they like the ones, they don't even consider precision rifle 308s until they're into the 168s and then 175. So that's probably, if this is a slow twist rate, that's probably going to be an issue for this gun. So I would imagine this is going to shine with some 155s or 150s, 155s actually. Right within reach. 155 grain match ammo, 308. You can buy it, it is out there. But obviously we're going to have to check the twist rate. Now, I guess something that was of interest is, these guns are well used. These were in service with the French military until fairly recently, within the past couple of years, I would think. So I'm going to have to bore scope it, and I want to check and see how much erosion there is. But there's a curveball with that, because when you look up the specs on this gun, it appears the French, being French, doing things their own way, they tapered the rifling from the action into the barrel. I think they said it was for 100 millimeters. They tapered it, and they did that to keep throat erosion down on the barrels under prolonged use. So if you're not aware of that, I suspect, and you bore scope it, you're going to see what might look to you as severe erosion, and that could be factory tapering. Now, does that make a difference? Does that make the barrels last longer? I have no idea. I really don't care. We'll look into it. What this gun shoots is what this gun shoots. We bought it as a reference gun, but something to be aware of. If you're not familiar with that, then you're looking at the lands and grooves on the gun, and it looks like it's blown out, right by in front of the throat. It may not be as bad as what you think it is. Also, what's unique with these guns is the most distinctive feature is the integral bipod. Now, you know what? Let's go ahead and show the bipod. Okay, so now the bipod. This is a reflection, again, being French, also of a different time. At least in the United States, we tend to like bipods as forward on the gun as we can get them, and also low, so we can get the theoretical apex of the bipod above the barrel. Well, they definitely achieve the apex above the barrel on this. Let's see if I can do this without bumping the camera. See how the gun hangs well below the apex on that. So that's pretty interesting. Now, in doing some research, I think I may have discovered a little bit of what we call French FUD lore. I don't know what's the word for FUD in French. So I guess some people over there are of the opinion, or I think they're guessing, that this bipod, by virtue of its location, don't at me in the comments. I'm quoting what they're saying, and I don't believe it. They're claiming, I can try to leave the laugh saying it. They're claiming that by virtue of the bipod being located in the middle of the gun, that it keeps the rifle, when it recoils, the barrel from tipping up, but instead makes it tip back. Now, I understand where they're theoretically getting that idea, but that's one of those logical fallacies that you can run into in the firearms world, and it's you take an idea and you logically extrapolate it out and you come to some kind of conclusion, but you don't actually test it, and you don't have the skill behind it to test it objectively. If you don't want your barrel to go up in the air when you're shooting a precision rifle, don't let your butt tip down when you're shooting it. So rear bag work, but neither here nor there. That's what they're saying with, the bipod. Now let's talk about the accessories that come with the gun. It does come with a bunch of accessories. There is an accessory pack. It's actually sealed in plastic, and they ship it with the gun. The accessories, it comes with two magazines, two 10-round magazines, detachable magazines. There's also a magazine carrying pouch. It comes with one sling. It does have a carrying case, and I think the carrying case is very interesting. Actually, I'm going to show that here live on the video. because this is the carrying case, and I'm calling it the carrying case. This comes with the gun. This has obviously been used, and if you look at it, you can tell this is actually a field case. So how this works is you'll notice, well, a couple key points. You see the air holes up in the front of the case. Those to keep moisture from being trapped in air and damaging your barrel, your lands, and your grooves. So very smart. Let the thing breathe. So how this works is the rifle. I do this because it's flopping. The rifle goes obviously barrel first into this case. Action magazine down with the handle up. And so as you put the rifle in the case, you'll notice the case is heavily padded on the back, and that would go over where the scope would sit, the issued French Army scope, where that would sit, and so it would protect it. Then obviously you've got flaps to put under, to seal the bottom of the gun up, and there's a relief for the pistol grip. Then you can carry it in the field like this. Now, when you look at this, when you put it on the gun, the butt of the rifle is going to stick out a little bit. And so again, this is a field carrying case, so you can easily unstrap it, pull it out, and use it if you need it in the field. So actually, I kind of like this case. I think it's pretty handy. I mean, I don't know if it's something I'd want to put like a super valuable gun I don't want scratched in it, but I think it's a pretty effective little idea. Also, the gun comes with a cleaning kit. It's actually a kit. The kit comes with basically a French version of a bore snake. It has an oil bottle in the bottom, and then a pull-through handle for the bore snake. And then it also in the front it has a takedown tool and a lens brush for your optics. So that's pretty neat. I think the takedown tool is pretty neat. So it does come with that. Comes with a user manual. All in French. It's laminated, printed in 1986. Looks like updated in 1988. Also, interestingly enough, if you happen to get the appropriate scope with this rifle, they do include a dope card for that scope for the adjustments, the ballistics adjustments for for the elevation turret out to. This is out to 600 meters. Oh, if you're curious, it is in meters, not yards. You can tell by the how it's marked. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 meters. I know the initial publication said the gun was good for 800 meters. That's what I was seeing on the internet. But looking at the documentation, it looks like the Ministry of Defense in France is saying 600 meters. That might be something to do with it having a lighter weight bullet, but neither here nor there, but that could be a clue. Also, the gun, old school, comes with length of pull spacers. The spacers that you receive are serial numbered to the gun, so that's kind of interesting. How it's the old style spacer. So I haven't actually tried to take this apart yet, but you can tell that the butt pad slides up. You put in the amount of spacers that you need, then you insert a new butt pad at the end of whatever your chosen spacer, and you go from there. So these spacers when you look compared to the gun. I don't know if those have ever actually really been used that much, or if they spent their entire service life married to this gun. That's probably a little bit too much to ask, but for some reason they are numbered to the gun, so that might be something that Navy Arms is doing. I doubt the French Army's doing it, but neither here nor there, but there it is in case you're curious about it. The bugaboo with these guns seems to be the scope bases. Now, I guess when these initially came out, there was either a misunderstanding or a misrepresentation of scope bases for these rifles. And I'll tell you, if you don't have a scope base for this gun, it's going to be pretty painful. And as of right now, when I'm making this video, we don't have a scope base. So for some reason, Navy Arms has told us that they're shipping the scope bases separately. Now, my contacts at Navy Arms, they weren't sure why they were instructed to do that. Now, this could have been a story they were telling me because it's a story, and it could be a logistics issue. Maybe they don't have the scope bases in yet, or maybe they have a limited number and they're expecting more to come in. I do know, if you made it 16 minutes into this video, that Navy Arms has told me they are expecting a second shipment of FRF2s to come in. So if you missed the first round and you want to go ahead and get another stab at it, you will, because there's going to be another batch coming in. The scope bases that are supposedly coming in, hopefully ours will be in any day, supposedly they are 19. They have you know what? Let's do this right. You can see the top of this gun. That's pretty proprietary. You can see where something would claw in or slide in and mount up. And so there's going to be nothing like this in the United States. So hopefully we do get the bases. It has there's a rail on that side where it hooks in. So my understanding is that base has a 1913 Picatinny base on it. So you can use 1913 rails or 1913 rings to put whatever scope you want on it. Now, my understanding is the French Army scope for these guns is pretty low power. I think it's a 4 or 6 power. I don't even know if it's a variable. It might be fixed power. It might be called APX scope. I just can't remember. I'm not really that interested in it. Now, I guess there are different versions, different groups in France, my understanding, configured these rifles differently. So APX scopes for the Army, I believe there was a different scope for the Navy, and it's my understanding that there was at least 1 or 2 different scopes. The Navy might have had one, a Schmidt & Bender, a mid-power Schmidt & Bender, like a 1-to-6 power hunting style scope in my opinion, and the French police, I believe, were running a 3-to-12 by 50 millimeter objective Schmidt & Bender scope. Well, if we happen to get our base, I have a Schmidt & Bender 3-to-12 by 50 sitting over here on a Blaser barrel that honestly isn't really cutting it for my uses for precision rifle work. Nothing against it's a hell of a nice scope, but it's kind of a low magnification, and the reticle on it is kind of thick for super precision work. And I've been looking for a reason to get rid of that scope or to take it off working guns and do something else. Well, this could be the perfect home for that scope. So my plan is once we get the base, we'll put a Schmidt & Bender on it, and then we'll have $10,000 wrapped up in this gun. Okay, now let's talk about this example of gun, because there are some peccadillos with this individual example. So you will notice if you look at the bipod feet, this one is obviously covered in rubber. This one is raw aluminum. Now, ideally, I would like to find a replacement piece for that. If I am going to shoot this for groups or try to shoot it to some level of performance, especially on video or paper for you guys, I'm going to have to make a decision. I'm either going to have to replace this foot over here, or I'm going to have to remove this foot over here, because one thing I don't want to have happen if I'm shooting precision is I don't want to have an imbalance in the gun. I don't want to induce a twist in the bipod. I don't want to give the gun any reason not to recoil straight back. So I'm going to have to match the feet. And so if you know where I can get a French sniper rifle, a French bipod foot cover for this style of bipod, please send me an email and hook a brother up. As for the condition of the wood on this example, you can see here, you know what, let me take that off. Decent condition. I think there were better examples available from Navy Arms. The pistol grip certainly shows some serrations left. They're not totally worn flat. There's no obvious cracks or failures in the gun. So I think we did pretty good on it. Now, if I can get this back into this is, in case you're curious, there's 2 cheek pieces. The cheek pieces come with these little nails. So they're sharp feet, and they go into these rubber grommet receivers, and that's how you replace the cheek pieces on these guns. One more peccadillo with this individual rifle, and this is going to be something that some of you probably are not going to be too happy to see, but I think people that actually bought these aren't going to worry about it too much. The magazines that came with this gun were probably stored in these magazine pouches for years. And you'll notice there's a light amount, some cases a significant amount of just light dust surface rust. No pitting, obviously has to be addressed. I'm not going to insert these into the gun, and I'm not going to put rust into the gun, but this is going to be something that has to be cleaned up, and you can even see inside the pouches. I doubt you're going to get that. Yeah, you can see. You can tell these magazines have been sitting in the pouches for a little while. I don't know if they picked up rust in storage, if they picked up some moisture in storage, and maybe they picked up some moisture in shipping, or maybe they were rode hard and put up wet by some French dude. But, something to be addressed. And, what's that? Is that somebody's initials on the back of one of these magazines? What is that? Is that TAN? Tan? Well, certainly not tan. So T, I don't know what that symbol is. N. So if anyone knows what that stands for, it might be FU in French for all I know. As for the gun, there's no rust on it. Obviously, the action, you can see it's worn pretty bare. These guns were used quite a bit. There is zero rust on this gun. So if you're worried about that, there's zero rust in the barrel, zero rust in the action, in the bolt. There's no rust on this gun at all. So, you can't really ask for any more than that. So, all right, well, that about wraps it up. If you have any more questions or want to see any more stories or pictures of links of this FRF2 gun, please go to our website at John1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.